Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is a brother Yahawashi call back with another lesson, giving all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahawah, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Apostle Tahar, Apostle Kabal, Apostle Aramlab, Apostle Rakah, and all the noble, the worthy elders, man. Peace and blessings to the elect, or should I say the hopeful elect, and blessings upon that great multitude destined for salvation who believe in the names Yahawashi, Yahawashi, believe in this truth that we're teaching. I want to get into a lesson, and I want to go into the topic of our strength. Our strength is not our own, man. Our strength is from the Heavenly Father. There's nothing that we do that is not without the power of Yahawashi, Yahawashi. And that means absolutely nothing. Everything is of the Lord. Alright. Let's just start. Let's get right into it. So 2 Corinthians 12 and 7. It says, "And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan, to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure." So, we catch hell, right? Why? To keep us grounded, man. To remind us, because you can get proud in this thing, man. Oh, I'm an Israelite. Yeah, the Esau's the devil, and we're going to inherit the kingdom. Yeah, that's all true, but it's not meant to buff you up, man. It's not in that sense anyway. Spiritually, yes, but not in the not with carnal measure. So you start believing you're something that you're not. Next thing you know, pride kicks in, and you're going off. So we need to remain humble, man, and the Lord has a good way of doing that, man. Whether it be financially, whether it be mentally, all these things, physically, even spiritually, man. Alright, in fact, seeing as I said that before I continue on, man, this is why we have to pray on certain things. Let me get Psalms 51 real quick. We often get into this one because it's important, man. It's a reminder. So I'm going to start from the top. Psalms 51. It says, "Have mercy upon me, O Yahawah, according to thy loving kindness, according to the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions." So the blotting of the transgressions comes from prayer, right? And this is a prayer. It says, according to the, I'm going to jump back a bit. According to unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, man. So the Lord is merciful, man. That's why we don't always catch you, but it's to remind us sometimes, man. If we always say, man, and the scriptures say, if you're not catching hell in this truth, man, you're not the Lord's not dealing with you, man. Alright, it says, "Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and sin is ever before me. Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight." We haven't sinned against anyone else but Yahawashi, Yahawashi, man, because he's the Heavenly Father, and he's given us the laws, the statutes, and commandments to abide by. Alright, and we fell off. We didn't do that. Right, we were given, what's it, Psalms 147 and 19, man. The Lord is only dealing with Israel, and he's only given us the statutes and the commandments, man. And he's dealt with another nation, paraphrasing it. Right? So we're the only ones. It says that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, once more blot out my iniquities. You have to pray for forgiveness of sins, man. The Lord will forget. It's a forgive and forget situation that we have, man. Through Yahawashi's sacrifice, alright? It says, cast me not away from thy presence, and this is the point I wanted to get to, right? And take not thy Holy Spirit from me. So, listen, the Lord can reduce your spirit, make you feel weak in the spirit, and that's scary, because it's happened. It happens to brothers, man. It happens to me. Alright, but he can take it away completely. You know, till you're bugging out and you're back out in the world doing all sorts of madness, man. It says, then will I teach transgressors, I'm struggling to say that today, transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. And that's not talking about everyone, that's talking about Israel and the elect. Only the elect can be converted, man. You know? It says, deliver me from blood guiltiness, O Yahawah, thy power of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. Alright. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. If thou delightest not in burnt offering. It says the sacrifices of Yahawah are a broken spirit, this is another point I want to get to, a broken and contrite heart. O Yahawah, thou wilt not despise. Alright, I'll leave it there, but you know, the contriteness, man, we need to be humble, man, before the Lord, man. A broken spirit, because what have we got to rejoice about, man? You know, what have we got to rejoice about in this, other than, you know, not to diminish the truth, but everything else, this place is, you know, wicked and evil, man, and corrupt, and it will corrupt you. You know, without this truth, it will corrupt you completely. Because we are a bit corrupt. Why? Because we're not pure. We're not pure yet. So let's finish, go back into 2 Corinthians 12. So, you know, the point there was, you know, that spirit that is in us is given to us, man. You know, there's all men have different measures, man. So don't be, you know, like I said, it's given to us, so don't be, you know, all up on yourself like, you know, you hold all the power. Because we are, like, you know, the point of this lesson is we get our power from Yahawashi. Verse 8 says, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my sacrifice is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Yeah, because that's when you really, the Lord has chosen us not because we're the mightiest, the people, the greatest, man, you know, the largest nation, you know. He chose us because the opposite, man. That's how he shows his power. It says, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. That's when you know, when you're at your lowest, man. That's when the Lord starts showing you his power. You know, when he gets you out of the messes that you're in and the illnesses and whatever else, the problems that you have, that's when he shows you, man. And we've seen it multitude of times, man. We don't have to contemplate whether or not the Lord can do these things. We've seen him do it. Well, not seen him do it, but we've seen the evidence of him doing it. It says, most gladly therefore will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me. So, you know, well, I'm going to read it on. What Bob was saying. It says, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Why? Because that's when you need the Lord the most, and His power that comes along. You know. So that's the point of it there. And, I mentioned Yahawashi. The sacrifice, man. Let's get something real quick. Because without the Yahawashi sacrifice, we wouldn't even have any of this, man. Right, Ephesians 2:1 says, and you have he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sin. So that's being quickened, is to be made alive. Right, because we're dead. The dry bones, man. It says, wherein time ye passed, ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, which is Satan, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Yeah, the Edomites, man. Esau, Edom, man. Alright. It says, among whom also we all had our conversation in times past. Let me read that again. Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lusts of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as the others. That was the past, man. We can't, there's no going back to that, man. It says, but Yahawah, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, he have quickened us together with Hamashiach. By grace ye are saved, and has raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Hamashiach Yahawashi. So well, let me continue. It says, in that in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his grace in his kindness toward us through Hamashiach Yahawashi. So not only before we even get to the kingdom, man, he's going to show us the riches of his grace by the forgiveness of sins, man, and protecting us and strengthening us. It says, for by grace ye are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves is the gift of Yahawah, not of works, lest any man should boast. All right. So if even physical strength comes from the Most High, man. If He allows you, He can stop you from. You could be going to the gym 24/7 and reap no rewards, man. If the Most High does not want you to reap those rewards, because physical fitness is also a way to garner pride, man. It's like I'm in the wrong one. The hand of the Lord was upon me, and carried me out, the Spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. And He caused me to pass them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And He said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord Yahawah, thou knowest. And again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live, and I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahawah. Right? So that's not talking about a physical sense of, skeletons laying on the ground and all of a sudden, the muscles and the sinew and the organs enter into enter in and around, and the skin and the teeth and the brains and the eyes and all that stuff, man. No, it's talking about breathing the life of the scriptures, the truth into us, because we were dead in this world. We were dead to the Lord, man. Basically, the walking dead. Right? Verse 7 says, "So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then he said unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding army." And that army, man, that's talking about the elect. That's talking about the very men, the prophets, man, of Yahawashi doing this work. Alright, have been not all saved, but have been brought to life by the truth, by the scriptures, man. Alright. So, have I finished here? Yeah. And as I mentioned, man, I'm kind of going all about the place, man, but let me get this as well, because I mentioned that, the Lord chose, us not because of we're the highest in this world, far from it. It's the opposite, man. Let's get this, 1 Corinthians 1, and I think 27. On side 25 says, "Because the foolishness of Yahawah is wiser than men, and the weakness of Yahawah is stronger than men. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called." Right. It's not about that. It shows then, this is a perfect point, because that's showing you that, it's not the mighty men and the most enigmatic men in the world, most desired men in this world are chosen for this. Men in high positions. It's the lowest of men. So it shows the strength of the Lord. We're able to stand out there in all seasons, with no fear, preaching this word, man. And we can't be touched. And I'm just saying that not with pride, but with facts, because the Lord, compasses the angels around us, man. He gives us protection and strength. It says, but Yahawah have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and Yahawah have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and base things of the world and things which are despised have Yahawah chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. But of him are ye in Hamashiach Yahawashi, who of Yahawah is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption, that according as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. So there's another good point there. Never once we say, become, braggadocious about what we do according to this word, man. Because there's men out there in camps that do that. They have their Passovers and they sit on golden thrones with chalices and that, and enter into the room like they're Yahawashi themselves, man. It's crazy. We have to remain humble, man. Remember that our strength comes from the Most High, man. Isaiah 40, let's go to there. Hast thou not, this like Isaiah 40:28 says, hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting power, the Lord Yahawah, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is he weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. And that's now and in future reference, man. Where we get them spiritual powers, man. You know, when we get them spiritual powers, they're not going to be able to touch us, man. Our enemies are not going to be able to touch us, man. And let's jump to the next chapter. I'll start with verse 8, man, just to get to the point. So Isaiah 41:8 says, but thou, Israel, right? You know, just got to point that out. Art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. So all the people that want to talk about the Most High cast away Israel, and now he's giving it to the actual natural Gentiles, you know, as in, like, you know, the heathens. Man, it's not true. Verse 10 says, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Now, there's so many scriptures, man. The Lord always reminding you, or reminding us, I should say, that you know, that he is there to strengthen us, man. Basically, without him we are nothing. Habakkuk 3:19 says, the Lord Yahawah is my strength, and he will make my feet like hinds' feet, and he will make me to walk upon mine high places. You know, I'm just gonna get a couple more, man. You know, just to make a few more points in that, man. And all of this is what, to remind us that we must remain humble, man. You know, remember, if we have Mashiach, we can do all things, man. You know, that is a fact. And yeah. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Mashiach, which strengtheneth me. Ephesians 6:10. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Right? Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahawah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Right? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahawah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. And I'm going to read one more, man. And, I hope this has been edifying. So Hebrews 11:30 says, by faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace. Yeah, man, she protected them, and the Lord had mercy. You think the Lord just... Nah, man, that's not how the Lord works, man. His scriptures say what? He will have mercy upon whom he will have mercy, man. And what shall I more say? For the time will fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, and of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, with righteousness obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions. Daniel. There's so many instances of the Lord's strength, man. I'm forgetting the names now. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, man. They was they walked through the fire, man. Untouched, not just like walked through it, got burnt, and that was okay. The fire didn't even, they were cool, man. It says, quench the violence of fire. I just said that's escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to fight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover the bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword, and wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, and being destitute, afflicted, tormented. Remember the 7 brothers and the Maccabees and their mother? You think they just was able to withstand that torture because they were strong? No, man, they had the power of the Yahawashi inside them, man. And not only that, the faith that he would give them that just like we're going to have the faith, those of us that may be put to death or tortured in this last day, man. The Lord is going to make it so we can withstand that, man. Being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy, they wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and in caves of the earth. And all these, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. Yahawah having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. So the bottom line is, man, we have to thank the Lord, man, for the strength that He gives us, man, even just to get up in the morning. Because without Yahawashi, you might not make it through the night. When your travels, the protection, when you're coming in and going out and coming in. Over the food that we eat, because everything's defiled, man. The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, man. So that's just a reminder, man. Our faith comes from Yahawashi. It's not within ourselves, man. We're in these fleshy bodies, man. These weak fleshy bodies that can be destroyed within an instant. Anyway, Lord willing, we'll close out. Lord willing, this is edifying. And man, all praises, honor, and glory is due to Yahawashi, always, man. For all these things, man. Double honor to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and to the great multitude destined for salvation. Shalom.